besides his anyway, he's had all these chores or tasks that he's had to do to help the earth be connected enough for the final ascension. Okay, so this was just a clip of him going to Salt Lake in Utah, and where he went to a place where it looks like the sky and the sky was one continuous sky, because the sky was reflected in the water. It was an incredibly beautiful place. And he had to follow his guidance to get there, because the place is huge. I don't know if you've ever been there, but and as he was walking, he's been to the Himalayas, he's been to Peru, he's been in the jungles, trying to reach certain points of the earth where he's had to do a ritual or something to connect that and open up and activate that point. So as he's walking along, you see him going up and down hills and rocky paths, and he says, why is every frickin' path to where I have to go so difficult? And the answer he got back was, it's difficult because you have to be observant. We want you to discover the clues, and you will learn something, because if it was an easy path, you will learn nothing. And then you will not also be able to guide someone down that path, right? If you remember, look out, there's a bunch of rocks here, you're going to fall. You're going to guide your person around that, and then you say, okay, there's a big cliff right here, so we're going to go down this line. So when it's a difficult thing, like life is, just like a golf course metaphor, everything is not easy. If it was just a straight line, you'd be in a different kind of golf course, right? But a real golf course is all these obstacles you're going to maneuver, and that's what life is. So that was the answer to his question. Why is it always difficult to get where I have to go? Why do you make it so difficult? And that's what we ask all the time. That's what your client asks. Why is life so difficult? So when he finally gets to the place where it is, the upshot of it all is that every path begins with a question, not an answer. So everyone's looking for an answer, but the real point of any path or journey is to come up with the right question. So I was trying to relieve some of the intimidation you feel about having all the right answers for someone by realizing all you have to do is guide them to the right question, okay? So we had scenarios that people had to go through, but here's the takeaway. The idea when you're helping someone get to that question is that this is the soul question. This is the question you would get to ask the source if you could face to face the greater power, or face to face the God. And you want one question, you get one question to ask him to help you get through this lifetime. What is that question? That's the question. Okay? So what I wrote this morning was, back away and look from above and see it as a neutral observer point of view, or in other words, a bird's eye view. Okay? You cannot be on the same level as yourself, because where's my chess book? Oh, there. Because from your viewpoint in life, this is what you see. If you feel like a pawn and someone who's just starting out in life and a beginner and everything, as a pawn you only see the enemy in front of you, and you don't realize you have a whole team behind you. And you have to move first before anyone else has moved. So you also feel like you're being sacrificed in order to get anywhere. And you don't feel valued, and you feel powerless. So how do you solve if you feel you're a pawn in, say, a divorce issue, a pending divorce issue, or a narcissist empath type of marriage type of thing. If you feel trapped, how can we solve your problem if you stay at the level of the pawn? Okay, so what we're trying to do is get you to either back up a little and at least see it from the level of a bishop or a taller piece, preferably the king, because what does the king see from the back row? Is it different what he sees than the pawn? What does he see?
He sees the whole picture.
He sees the whole picture. He sees the enemy way out there. He sees his whole team working really hard. He sees that he's the most important piece. He feels very significant. And if he's a good king, he wants to do his part, even though it's only move one step forward, back, or to the sides. He can't move diagonally. So, from the viewpoint of the king, he sees this whole thing like that, and the pawn sees his life as that. Whose truth is more true? Is anyone's truth more true than the other truth? Everyone's truth is valid, right? But do you notice as you widen your perspective, you can take in more data. You can see the nuances of what is going on. It's not just you against the enemy. You see? So how important it is to change perspective. What if we change perspective like this? Now, if you're the player, you realize life is a game. It's different scenarios. People have to play with different roles in your life. Some are there to capture you. Some are there to guide you. Some are there to just remind you what your role is. Okay? And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And sometimes you're black, sometimes you're white. And there's only certain ways you can move sometimes. And before you can go checkmate, certain things have to happen. So you're waiting for that job interview, you want the results of your job interview, you want to know if you got the job. Sometimes you're waiting, what seems like forever, is because different pieces have to fall into place. So if you can take the view of the player, now you have the more expanded view. Now, there's a more expanded view than the player. Does anyone know what that is? What's higher than that? Where God is? Is that what you said? Yes, where you see everyone playing games. You see that there are definitely two players. If we only take the viewpoint of one player, that your internal world doesn't even really take in the personality of the person in front of you. You're only looking at the moves. You're communicating through the moves of the pieces. Okay, so this is how we get to solve our problem. It's not by directly attacking the problem. First, rise above the problem and look it down and say, okay, I see two people arguing. One is almost essentially got her back turned towards the other person, which means she doesn't even want to pay attention to what he's saying. And the other person keeps jabbing his finger like this, so he's being very aggressive and not encouraging her to communicate face to face. So that's what you see. And that's totally different from what the client sees. So your job is to feed that back to them and then ask them, now, what do you really want to know about your life situation now that you got this viewpoint? All you know right now is how you feel when you're with that person. Now what do you need to know? Okay? So, let me go to, oops. Okay. So here, back away and look from above and see from a neutral observer point of view. Ask the questions that will clarify what you're seeing. Where you just see action figures and you don't even know the plot. So that is how you question. If you are so intense and your energy is intense, or someone who wants to do the right things and you're trying to think of all the questions you're supposed to ask, I don't want to give you a list of questions. Just be neutral and be an unattached observer, and that's the energy the person's going to get from you, so they can become an unattached observer. If they're very intense, like you, and you're giving them that intensity, then they're sitting there on the table wondering, am I doing the right thing? Should I really be seeing her? What am I doing? Should I go to a psychologist instead? You see what I'm saying? So, watch what you're radiating to the person. And this is true in any conversation. If you go to a conversation, you go, hi, how are you? But you're in your heart, you're going, I'm going to make him do this if it kills me. That's going to come across first. The smile on your face was nothing. Okay, so it's the energy that you're going to radiate. Okay, so we ask minor questions. They're the way to get to the major question. And the path of discovery is difficult because the universe wants you to be observant and look for clues. Okay. All right, in bold. When you help your client get to their soul question, you will know it is right because it is the type of question that your client has never asked. And you both have no idea what the answer is. Right? Everyone who was here, it took a while to get us to the right question, but when we asked the right question, everyone said, that's it. That's the question. Because the answer seemed like, it wasn't just a yes or no, or I don't know. It was like, oh, I have to think about that. That's the response you want. Okay, because now they're gonna explore in a place that they've never been. You both can feel the shift that the question triggers, and now change can occur. Just with the question. Just with the question. So here's an example, very fast. All right, so someone comes to you and says, we have financial problems, we're overwhelmed with bills, I feel trapped. So what question has not been asked? I'm overwhelmed with financial problems, tons of bills, I feel trapped. Back away, just see a person standing there with an empty wallet and a ton of bills. Yes! Very good. How did it happen? Okay. How did this imbalance happen? What else do you want to know?
Maybe when, because that would take them to what changed in their life.
Okay, that's a good minor question. Because how would you use the when to fill out the question for me? Because what you're saying
what
is
changed
in your life.
Yeah, was there a time in your life when things weren't that way, and what changed?
Very good. That's also a very good question. Okay. Now, I'm so sorry. How did you get this way? Do you think anyone else has asked them that question? A financial advisor, psychologist? Okay, but it's still good because it leads into not a why. Why do we not like why questions? I mean, personally, don't you not like why questions? Didn't your mother ask you a lot of why questions?
Yeah.
Especially when you got caught?
You're already assuming that somebody had done something wrong.
Right, and now you have
guilt
to...
is what I meant to. It's already a guilty question.
That's right, and then the answer is always a defense. Accusation, defense, accusation, defense. Even though it's a question why, it's like, why are you so stupid? It's really the general question. So, of course, we're on defense, okay? So let's throw that why question aside, and you asked, how did you get there? And you asked, what change, was there a change on
time when it wasn't that way and what changed?
Right, okay. Now, let's get personal with this person. What do you want to know about the inside that made the outside happen? What do you want to know?
What's in them that's moving them to fill themselves up with external things?
Very, very close. Very, very close.
I guess I would think you would have to find what if they say, what is the debt? Was it medical bills? Was it something within their control? Or was it just overspending and like for material things and trying to fill a void? We'd have to get to that, because if it were medical and it was out of their control, then that's different.
Yeah, that's
possibly.
I would look at where else they're feeling trapped.
Yes.
Because
yes,
they're probably trapped in some other part of their life that is also causing the money to not come in.
Yes, yes. Something with their value system, yes. Okay, so when I say getting personal now, those details, you're right, Eva, not necessarily identifying where the indebtedness is coming from, but the personal reason for indebtedness. Some people, even with medical problems, would just allow the state to take over. Medi-Cal, all the way, okay? Because you're overwhelmed, there's nothing you can do. They have no secret savings account. They have no charge cards, credit cards. Right, so that's not always something that has to happen that way. So what personally has to do with entrapment do you think is going on inside?
Maybe a sense of powerlessness.
It's a powerlessness against what? What are they trying to do by spending money that they couldn't do by saving money?
Fill a void. They're trying to fill a void and replace their emptiness, or maybe they couldn't afford those things before in their youth, and now with the credit cards they feel like they have the empowerment to go and get what they want, but not really thinking about that they have to pay it back. I think it's trying to fill a void.
Also, you have to ask, why was important at that time to spend this money? What was the purpose of this money? Because you have to find out that somebody said was for illness, was for getting somebody out of jail, was for,
Yes. So,
An obsession.
putting both of you,
Addictions.
it could be putting both of your ideas together. There's a way, and if you think I know, I don't yet. It's coming. There is a question that will you can ask them directly into their value system or their way of looking at the world that got them into this situation. What is that question?
What are you trying to feel when you spend money?
What are you trying to feel? Okay, so if they answer you with one word, will that point to a solution? If they say emptiness, will that point to a solution? Not necessarily.
Well, you would say, I want this. Well, why do you want that? That's
Yes. What is it about your wants?
What does it make you feel when you're spending money?
Why do you want what you need?
Well, they've done it. That's very close. We're getting there. Because what do you feel when you're spending the money? they obviously have done it over and over and over again. They may not even know what that feeling is, but does it point to a solution? Or a path?
A trend.
We're not looking for a clean-cut solution. We're bringing them to the start of a path that will lead them to a whole new way of doing things, so they don't get into this problem again. So it has to do with wants. What makes your wants so important that you're willing to what?
Become trapped. Feel like you're trapped.
Yeah, sacrifice your...
No, they didn't volunteer to feel like they're trapped.
Okay.
But we're close.
But
What
you
is it
went
about
down.
your wants?
Yeah.
That it's worth that's worth putting you in debt, and in turn, like your peace and...
That makes you spend, or money that you don't have, or to put your, what is it about your wants that you're willing to put yourself into a deep hole that will be difficult to climb out? Okay, so now.
And make you feel how you feel now, like trapped.
Yeah. Well, when you're in a deep hole, you feel trapped.
Right.
Okay, now. Yes.
But I would think that would be a two-step thing, because if you would go from the beginning and say, what makes you do this and put you in a big hole, you're going to get more defensive immediately. I think first would be important to find out what makes you spend this money, what's the reason that makes you spend this money, and then it's going to even then would be the second question, would that be worth putting you in that? I would think it's a two-question.
If we do it in a two-question way, will it point out the solution?
If it turned out they were buying things, and that's how they got themselves in that position, then I think it would be important to ask them, what do those things represent to you?
And if we find out what it represents to them, will it point out the solution?
No. Well, it's a next, yes, because it's the next level question. Well, why do you need that, or
What does it make you feel?
that's what it makes you feel, but why do you need that type of question? To get to the root, it's why are you doing it?
Okay. So everyone feels those why questions. Everyone knows what those why questions. There's about 2 or 3 why questions that we could ask in separate pieces. Have them tell us a bunch of details that they told other people.
Right.
And then we're going to have to sew them all together. But what if there's just one question? The one question is almost worded. What is it about your wants that you are willing to put yourself into a deep hole that is hard to get out of? Do you see? Because number one, she can change her wants, correct? Or she can climb out of the hole. Or she won't dig herself such a deep hole. So we've got 2 ways for her to possibly attack this problem in one question. Okay, so that's the question. And it's not up to you to come up with this. She can help you, because your goal's in there, going back and forth. But and I'll show you how you're going to know. It's even going to be easier than this. But this is the route of discovery. What is the question that's not a why question, that's going to point to a path, a new path that she can take and discover for herself, and it's going to be empowering, not dependent on you. It's going to be empowering for her to answer this question. What is it about your wants that you're willing to put you and your family into a deep hole? And you know what it is? Keeping up with the Joneses. Okay, that's what most 20-year-olds do. That's what it is. I know it's medical pause for our age, but it's not medical pause for 20-year-olds. Okay, so, and 30, and I think we mature right around 45. When you finally realize everyone's getting old, everyone's got gray hair, everyone's got children's problems, rich, poor, or insignificant, we all share that. So then we quit worrying about keeping up with the joints. Okay, but so that means they gotta change that need to look so wealthy when you're not. All right, and then to realize that with every dollar you spend, you're digging this hole, and you're going deeper and deeper, okay? All right. So, now, here's your big clue. When you're the interviewer, keep the 4 agreements in your mind and Byron Katie, and that's all you need to do. So, the 4 agreements, what are they? In any order. What's your favorite one?
Just one.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions. Be impeccable with your word.
Yes. Know you're doing the best you can.
Yeah.
Knowing you're doing the best you can. And
Correct. No, just
my favorite one helps with all teenagers and narcissists and people you don't like. Don't take anything personal. Okay. You take all 4 of those, you keep them in the back of your head, listen to their opening story. Oh, my psychic told me I have a blockage in my heart chakra. Listen to that, and then say, what assumptions did they make? What do they tell themselves they're not being impeccable with? I'm so inferior. I can never do things right. What are they taking personally? Everyone hates me. My mother has never loved me. Okay, and then this last one, are you doing your best? Have you tried everything? What have you tried so far? And is this a perfectionist? Anyone know any perfectionists in here? No, huh? Okay, so I didn't even introduce trauma. That's how perfectionist I am. But he's married to a perfectionist. When you have a perfectionist, doing your best always means doing the very, very optimal best every single day. Correct? But
also means you're not good enough either.
so that's what you want to discover with them. Are they putting out 200% effort on a day when they are only 40% there, and when they should only be able to deliver 30%, and that's your best that day, and you should be satisfied with it. You see? So that those 4 agreements help you know what mistake they're making. They're making one of the 4 mistakes or a combination, and you want to know which one it is. So ask the little minor questions and then help them to get to the major one, which is change what you think is the best or perfect. If you already acknowledge to me there's no such thing as perfect, then change what kind of goals you set up for yourself every day. Go by what your body feels like doing. Did you sleep well? Did you eat breakfast? Work with that. Don't try and act like you have a full tank when you don't. Right? Okay, so you see? Isn't that a big clue? Okay, and then the Byron Katie questions is first you want to hear what judgments they're making. Because everyone's got a judgment, either about themselves or you. And it's a statement with probably the words always or never. And we, just as a reminder, always and never is the child in them speaking. Because an adult knows no one is always and no one is never. Okay, even a schizophrenic is not always schizophrenic. If they make it to the bathroom, they're not schizophrenic in the moment. If they eat when it's mealtime, they're not schizophrenic in that moment. So no one's 100% anything. So when they say that that's a judgment and that's the judgment you're going to attack or go after or help them see. Okay, so my husband always, what does a narcissist do? My husband always, finish that sentence for me. I'm not married to one, so I don't know. My husband always,
Well, narcissists will gaslight you.
what gaslight you?
They'll gaslight you. And
Oh, they always make it your fault.
right.
Okay,
It's never their fault.
Or they'll behave in a way or say something and then they'll deny they ever behaved that way or said that.
okay.
They're crazy making.
Yes, yes, okay.
They deny your reality.
Okay. I'm still trying to say, is this what a typical person says about their narcissist husband? Just one statement. My husband always makes it look like, my husband always turns things around
To make it my fault.
to make it my fault when I'm bringing up issues with him. Okay, always. So that's a judgment. So then what would Byron Katie's first question be?
Is it true that it's 100% of the time this happens?
That's right. And then that starts you on the roll. Okay, and none of her questions have to really be asked at a particular time. It should be conversational. So someone says, yes, it's always. He always turns things around, makes it my fault. And then what's the next question then?
Is there proof about that? Can you?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, how do you know that's-
is it proof?
Yeah,
Absolutely true.
or give me some examples,
Yes.
because I can't believe he's always like that.
Right.
Give me some examples. And then you got the conversation on, okay? We don't have time to go through their life story. They have been through psychologists, they have been to counselors, priests, psychics, shamans, everything. They came to an energy therapist for something different, and they're hoping that you will be that bridge. They know what to do. They know what their heart, they sort of know what their heart wants them to do. They know there's a mismatch. You are going to straighten it out so that all of a sudden they can say, this feels so much better. This is what I gotta do. So, all right, let's start. Any questions? Wait, that's the interviewer. Oh, let's go real quick through the anatomy of chakra session. So,
Can we open the window and there's not there?
no.
Sorry.
It's your turn. Put it on.
That was a strong milk. That's like a Y.
Like so hot, right?
Behind the curtain, Tron. You're behind the curtain.
Yeah, there's the light.
The left one.
Yeah.
I brought my hat this time.
Good job.
I'm a sweater.
Thank you. Usually I can feel, there she goes, a thermal polar bear. Okay, so the anatomy of a chakra session. Okay, first, your prep needs to be done sometime before you see clients. Doesn't need to be before each client, unless you have a really traumatic client and you feel like you've been traumatized. The idea is ground yourself, clear your biofield. That means you're clearing your own chakras. And I'll show you quickly. Contact your higher self and spirit guides and progressive beings of the universe and ask them to be open to their guidance. we don't even ask for beings of light anymore. I know that is something I used to do. But beings of light is now taking on a different meaning. It's been co-opted by the Illuminati and the Cabals because they're sun worshippers. And now a being of light could be them. So now you say a progressive being who's interested in helping me expand my consciousness. So just use the word progressive. Progressive spirit guides. And let's contact your heart space and breathe into it deeply with an exhale longer than your inhale. And then close with a cleansing breath of an exhalation, strongly saying, so this is, it simply looks like you sit there and you call on Gaia, Earth Spirit, whatever you want. Imagine the roots under you being cut and new roots going down. Say grounding, grounding, grounding. Try and feel yourself get a little heavier. Shoulders down, feet flat, everything feeling grounded. Put your hand on your heart. Start inhaling and exhaling longer, 1 or 2 breaths. And then the third breath, do one big inhale and then go. In yoga, that's the cleansing breath. Okay. You're letting everything go. Right. If you feel it, like your biofield is not there, I'm going to show you the Celtic weave on yourself. This is the Dawn Eden one that's on this thing. You're going to do it a little differently when the client's on the table. But on yourself, you just simply, you bring the energy from your chakras up from the bottom, and then you simply weave them like a DNA molecule, and then bring them up again, and then weave. Okay? Once is usually enough. But that's a Celtic weave. Very simple. And but don't just try and feel the ether, the water, the air. Feel that energy.
We're supposed to say something when it goes down to the ground because it reminds me of the Janet. Remember Janet, you told us how to shake it off? Like,
You had to send it to the center of the earth.
and then I've been doing that at work. Okay.
Yes, that's more physical. This is the aura.
Okay.
So the aura is you're just cleansing your space. When we are finished working with a client, or you feel like you've been with someone who makes you feel heavy or burdened, that's when you're and then let it go. And so do it quick and you're ready to go. So that's for yourself. And then you usually welcome them in and you tell them that they don't have to take their clothes off, they just need to take their shoes off. You want them to let you know when you get cold or uncomfortable. And if I touch you in any way that makes you uncomfortable, please let me know. If you have a sexually traumatized person, if you have a person who might be on the spectrum, if you have a person that has been physically assaulted, and they're resting with their eyes closed and you go to touch them, and they do this, you got a sensitive person. So you got to go in slow and you got to come off slow. Okay, so be gentle. Because when they're on the table, especially if you're helping them go deep, their wounded children are sitting right there on their chest, and you are going to upset them. So just think on that. Okay. And then what you're going to do, because I haven't taught you to balance your triple warmer and spleen like I do to you guys every time you lay down first, I'm going to teach you a quick shortcut. And that is to take This is Trong. Trong is my personal assistant. Thank God. And my daughter is my scheduler, Amy. So you don't see her, but you might see her in the text. So I'm very, very privileged to have him available for my help because he understands technology. He's a very smart problem solver. And you're handy. So now I need someone on the table.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay, that was you. How did I know it was you?
Oh, I was on the list.
Okay, we'll just come. I just want to show the Vulcan Hold.
Oh, okay.
Anyone watch Star Trek at all? Anyone not watch Star Trek? Come on, people.
The one Star Trek?
I've seen it years ago, but
So you two were never.
Stop.
Did any, Alina and Angela, did you ever see Star Trek? Alina, did you ever see Star Trek? There's not a single Star Trek I've ever seen.
I'm a Trekkie. Yeah. All of them.
Alright, here's the Vulcan Hold. Do you know what a Vulcan is? A Vulcan, yes. Dr. Spock is half human, half Vulcan. And Vulcans were a race, is a race actually, I don't know what their real names are now, where they genetically removed all their emotions, or learned practice in such a way from birth they would suppress all emotion and work only through logic. Andromedans do that. There are several space races that are like that, several space races that are like us, emotional, and several races that are hive-like. So they don't think individually, they automatically think as one, and they do as one, and they don't even think to argue because there's no individuality in the hive mind.
The Borg.
Like the Borg. It's intricate, they don't understand.
Okay, sorry.
So the Vulcan has a way of touching someone's head at certain points to mind meld with them. Okay, and the Vulcan Hold is utilizing the triple warmer points on the body that are very powerful, and they go all around the ear. They go from the front of the ear, around the back of the ear, and also up here. Okay, but everyone feel the two mounds on the top of their forehead? Can you feel the two mounds on the top of your forehead? Some people think that this is just a flat realm. There's actually two mounds. One here, one here. Feel it? Right above the brows. Right above the middle of the brows. Lower, Angela. Yes, somewhere around there.
I'm freezing my house off.
Well, you wear that when you're sitting in your chair. Okay, feel that? Okay. Those are where your thumbs go. Thumbs go there. The second and third finger go in front of the ear. The fourth and fifth fit behind the ear. Okay, you're on the mound.
Yeah, you see this too.
You're on the mound with your thumbs. The index finger and the third finger fall to the front of the ear. The fourth and fifth finger just reach as far as you can, while it's keeping your thumbs in the right place. The thumbs are the more important part. Okay. Okay. That's it. All right. In this hold, what you're telling the body with the two mounds in front, whatever they're thinking about is not going to not trigger them anymore. So they could come to you thinking about traffic, being pissed off that someone referred them to you. They had to drive all the way to Orange, and then they find out you're intern working with Faye, and you're the one doing that. So they're thinking all these things. Your thumbs on those two mounds is softening the blow or softening the trigger, the emotional reaction they're having to anything. Okay. And then the fingers around the ears are telling the triple warmer, which is the stress meridian, that you do not have to be alarmed. This is nothing to be concerned about. Relax.
It puts you at ease.
It puts you at ease, okay? So, what do I have next after the Vulcan Hold?
The Donna thing that I didn't know what
The
it was.
hookup? The
The
hookup?
Donna thing?
Yes.
I don't know what
Oh,
it
that
is.
was before you lay down. Okay, but that's the Vulcan Hold.
Okay.
I showed you the Celtic weave.
Uh-huh.
When you're doing the Celtic weave on somebody, you start down here. Just take your hands and you want to feel like you're pushing energy. So if you want to do it knuckle to knuckle, it doesn't feel the same as feeling with your palms. So I do this.
Yeah, I feel that.
Okay, and then smooth it out.
So it's a figure eight, right?
It's a helix or a figure eight infinity sign. So, but with no closure, you know. So you're just weaving a Celtic weave. This goes like this. Okay. And then before they lie down, if you can remember to do this. So they're getting ready to sit down. They're gonna put their feet up. Before they sit down, you say, I have to hook you up. So you're going to put one hand on their belly button. It's okay if I touch it here. One hand at the base of their spine. Okay. And then you're going to bring both hands up together. Here's the front, here's the back. Both hands up together. This hand's coming up their back, over their head, down their forehead, down their nose, to the top of their lip. And this is coming up to the bottom of the bottom lip. And hook it.
You've never done that.
I don't have to. I'm doing other things. So
we would-
this is
A
your...
lot of people would be comfortable with that.
I think so.
Okay.
Or tell them to do it.
You can do it themselves.
Yeah. Put your hand here, put your hand against the spine. But look what happens. They can only come halfway.
Yeah.
And you're going to take this other hand, bring it up.
So when they ask why,
You're telling them you're hooking up the energies that run up the front of your body and the energies that run up the back. And the way energy really goes is it goes down the front and up the back. Down the front and up the back. Okay?
You can see it in YouTube. For Donna Eden, it's called the zipper,
Yeah.
right?
Donna Eden has a daily routine on YouTube. There's like 5 or 6 different things you can do for a quick pick-me-up. And these are just pieces. These are the calming pieces because we're going to work on the chakras. And when you learn the Jinshin Do acupressure, when they lay down, you're basically going to just do the triple warmer and the spleen balancing. And you won't do any of this. Unless you want to. If they're agitated and confused and crying already, you haven't even touched them, this Vulcan Hold can be very, very calming. And then it gets them used to the feel of you, and you get used to the feel of them. And then you just watch their breathing. From here you can see their aura, you can see their breathing, you can see whether they're twitching their feet, moving all the time. You can see whether their breathing deepens or gets more shallow. You'll also see when they stop breathing and you say, breathe. Okay, so that's why that's helpful. Okay, there's a few other little techniques in there. Let's see. Okay, then there's some pendulum questions. I'll let you go through that yourself. But
you want me to stay on the table?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Oh, you got off. I'm sorry.
I didn't know if you were done or if you wanted me to stay.
I just sort of figured you'd stay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And then somewhere in there, I want you to give a feel to all the chakras. So what we learned before is just give yourself an idea of just how energized, or is there cold sections? And then also too, it gives you so just give a general feel to them, and then do your pendulums, okay? Everything I've given you needs to be done, but it really doesn't always go in that order for me. So I want you to know that you have that kind of freedom. And sometimes you'll skip something and you won't know why, but it was meant to be. Okay, so use your hands to feel each chakra. That's number 8. Start from the root, work your way up. Okay, and then you're going to start the clearing. And when you get to the needy chakra, which you asked in the beginning there, which chakra needs the most work, if there's any, you know which one it is, and the pendulum, because you're going to go check each one, asking the pendulum, show me the root chakra, or you're going to hold the pendulum over the chakra. Show me the root chakra, show me the sacral chakra, show me the solar plexus, show me the heart chakra, show me the throat chakra, show me the third eye, show me the crown chakra. Okay, so you're going to see either they're all counterclockwise and one is not, some are, or you're going to see some, the pendant doesn't move at all. So you have to take note of that, and then you're going to ask, which chakra is the most important for me to do in this session? Okay, because you have only a short time. Okay. And that one you got to do layer by layer. Oh, so I told you to lock and unlock. Did I teach you how to lock and unlock the chakra?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So your hands are like this?
Yeah.
Good. It's really these 3 fingers that are the powerful one. And you just unlock them counterclockwise and then lock them clockwise. And I try to do it only on the one I'm working in depth, because if you forget, the body will eventually put it back in order. But if you forget, that the legs sometimes could cause them more vulnerability problems. They're too open. Alright, so now we're sort of ready with our first client laying there. Who's with Janet? Okay, go girl. Who's the third group? Ariel?
But I can't find the list. I think it's
I need my shoes off.
Does anyone need pendulums and all that?
I do. Mine at home.
You can use mine. It's on the table right there.
Thank you, Janet. Yeah, because I was going to bring it up.
Oh, yeah, that's on the agenda. Yes, absolutely. Here you go.
Because I think they had my email number.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can get this one.
Oh, I didn't go ahead. Why don't you take a picture?
I was like, wait, so do you have the email?
Yeah.
Could you forward it to me, please?
Okay. Yeah, take a picture.
Okay, thank you, Janet.
So, Shirley, Christine, oh, we're in the same group.
Yes.
okay, let me get to that.
She said she'd be late. Is she supposed to be the client the first time?
yes.
Okay,
You might have to switch that.
you might have to use John or me, because he's doing stuff. Okay, here's the group 1.
Yeah.
Janet, Alina, Nina, and then Shirley, Christine, and Angela. And then Loretta.
Ariel and Eva.
does the fan go down at all? Can we,
And it's too.
or is it?
This one, the remote just have a battery. That's why I cannot use this. Sorry.
Okay,
But the air conditioner is on, so it should be good.
So can we turn down the lights?
Hey, I figure out why I didn't get the email because the email address. It's not Angelina. It's Angela.
Thank you.
Feliciano.
You enjoy it?
Oh, for today, Janet is the therapist. I text you my email address. Yeah. It's on the interview. And Eva is the client.
oh, you're gonna have to get up.
I know. That's why I offered myself. I figured I'm supposed to be there soon anyway.
Time to get up, Mom.
I have to get up?
Yes.
I thought I was the first one on the table.
It says Janet is interviewer. Oh, wait, no. Hey,
They're on the wrong page. Go on the other
I
page.
sent it.
I'm the first one on the table.
okay, can you, is
Look, I'm at 10 o'clock.
Oh, Shirley is a therapist. Yeah, I'm the first one. You're the client.
excuse me, my love. Is there one before this? At 9 o'clock? Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
Oh, there, yes. You are.
Alina is there.
Did you see it?
Rita is
Okay.
Stay there.
Shirley is client. Christina's therapist and Angela. I'll find you a client. And then Loretta. I don't know what happened.
Loretta's the client, Eva's the therapist, and Ariel's the
Okay. And this will be our demo bed, and you're there. Who needs what? I have one crystal pendant and one.
Thank you.
Good. Everyone else? Okay. Okay, everyone ground yourself.
Oh, yeah, you've got to do like hook up the
Clear your energy field. Ask for guidance. Did you guys do that? Ground yourself.
I think we're doing the 9 o'clock right now. We're late right now.
Oh, is everybody working at once?
Yes. I can't move around. Okay, let me see what I'm doing.
No, not as the interviewer this time is going to ask the question.
Okay.
You're going to just concentrate.
Okay. David, can you set up so they can get a hookup or not?
Yeah.
Or turn sideways. Just turn sideways. She can hook you up while you lay on your side.
Lay on my side?
Are you already up?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna do the, after you ground yourself, you're gonna do the hookup.
Do I have your permission?
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, Trump, is that set?
Would it be easier if I stood up for you?
Please.
Okay.
Thank you. Until Shirley gets there. Oh, I'm touching it. There's a point right on that frenulum or whatever you call this, right there, and right under the middle of the bottom lip. Hey,
When you went up the back.
there's a table not being used on here.
The spine, does that
You're going in
Let's go over there. I'm scared.
Wait, are we at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
Nine.
We're just 9 o'clock. It makes a difference.
Probably does.
Okay.
Are we
I mean,
supposed to
so you two are in here. Come in here. Behind the you have to turn
So healthy today. Okay, the spread looks really good. Now, do you want me to tell you what's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I think one is therapist and one is...
Right.
I'm in a beginner stage. I'm learning.
You're the interviewer, right?
I'm the interviewer.
Oh, you're the interviewer?
Yes. Right? Yeah, and then you're the therapist.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're doing
You want to try it? Yeah. Okay.
Luckily Janet is really
cooperative
cooperative.
and generous.
I think you do it at the same time, right?
Yeah, you do it at the same time.
What was
It's
that?
a zip up.
That's what they showed in Gaia, you know, just to throw it away.
Oh, like lock the key in
Just throw it away. It's just a fun thing, but it's kind of reminding you that it's kind of blocking.
Yeah. But what is the
Now I
hookup
don't
really
know.
doing? Sorry.
Zip up.
Zip up. It's just
Now the hookup for her is usually this.
And have her say part there.
No?
Zip up is.
Zip up is this.
Hook up is. Okay, everyone's in.
As I'm following her, that's how it
right. I'm like, yeah, something's off. Is it? Okay. I'm confused. Because I don't know what is this all for though? I don't understand what the
It would be better if we would have had a little time to see this when it's done.
yeah. So is it this? Just is it this? That's the Vulcan
I
Hold.
think she was saying the way I picture it, it was like first they go to this,
Yeah. Yeah, that's how she had it before. Yeah.
Not you, you're just working.
It's actually really comforting.
that's how she had it.
Everyone, don't do the pendulum first, do the hook up and the Vulcan Hold first.
Oh, you're supposed to do the pendulum.
I wrote this under
You know what? If you scan somebody and you go down until you feel their biofield before work, then after work, you can do it again and see if you make progress.
Yes.
Okay?
I remember that. The last time we went to. Sorry, here it is.
So it's kind of good to like feel where I'm at and then see afterward if your work makes biofield bigger. I might tell Kay that, but
I know you have
it's just so you can track your progress. In the beginning, if people go down and feel where the biofield is, if they can, and then they do the work, and then after, when you're done, if you test it again, you know it's feedback, you know if you did.
That's right. But when you got a limited time, your pendulum will also give you the feedback.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good for learning. I used to do it all the time, but I don't do it now. 'Cause I can sort of see or feel it.
feedback. Like I do that because I personally need it,
Yeah.
right? Or then I don't have a clue.
Like where you started and where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
White wall here, over there, sometimes feel the seeking. Okay, Angela, you can start anytime. Ask us no, first ask the ring. When you use the pendulum, once you get the pendulum out, you're going to use it all the time. Yeah, so ask him first.
I'm trying hard.
What you're going to do is you're going to
What's the reason that you're here today?
It's not actually you, it's the doer that needs to ask for permission. The therapist, Angela, the therapist is the one who's asking for permission. So it's not you. Okay?
You're saying that you feel
We're doing both therapy.
dissociated.
You're doing what? Therapy?
We're both therapists.
No. Begin the questioning, my love. Ask her why she's here.
Okay. Then you're gonna be the interviewer next time.
Wait.
Oh, I'm the interviewer. Okay, and then
Okay.
she's the therapist.
Yes.
So what brought you in today?
That's what she's asking, right?
She's just an eager person. Sometimes you gotta hold her back.
We both are.
I know. So, yes, we gotta talk.
Okay, so I was diagnosed with a blood clotting disorder. Just diagnosed, which means my red blood cells are sticking together and they can form clots and it can shut down organs, it can kill me. I know my uncle died of that. And when I was diagnosed, they just said, you have it, I don't need to see you again. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? I want to be preventive and proactive, but it's bothering me, like why did I manifest that? Why did that come out? It's probably a complicated one.
So we go with like the interview processes.
So, I think you want to focus on the energy behind blood clotting and focus on the energy of why me. Okay? Why that? Why me?
Sorry. This is a hard one. Sorry.
Like one of the practitioners said, ask your higher self, well, I'm not getting an answer. So
I mean, is it okay to ask her higher self why she manifested this? But we don't want to go to whys, right? So, I mean, that's kind of like the question you had. It was a why question, but maybe we can reword it to see.
What assumption is she making? What judgment is she making? Does she feel like she's done something wrong to bring this on? Like that. Go through the 4 agreements. Your agreements.
feel, yeah, like what, I just feel like why did I manifest that? I don't feel it's, I do have a judgment about it because I don't feel it's high frequency.
That's okay. Don't judge your judgment. Don't judge your judgment.
Don't judge my judgment. Okay, I feel like I manifested something of lower frequency and I don't understand. Like it bothers me.
So I'm trying to pull, I'm going to try to pull you out of the personal and make it sort of impersonal. Or have you understand this in an impersonal way. Although it's personal, like you feel it in your body and it's affecting you. But how do I get there?
I have all these questions about it.
Yeah.
You can feel it.
Is it because I'm so worn out from caretaking Ernie and Ernie's illness and knowing he's leaving because my husband's dying? So is it that I'm so depleted? Is it part of me wants to go with him? Is it, it brings up all these questions for me. And how do I monitor if clots are forming? How do I know? And how do I prevent that? How do I monitor it?
How does your body feel now? Do you feel any changes with this new diagnosis?
Well, I felt changes, which is how we got to the diagnosis. And a lot of doctors don't know a lot about it, so that doesn't help. I'm supposed to watch flying. Flying can cause the clots to form. And I flew a lot this past week, and my legs didn't feel good.
Since time is moving on, one clue I can give you is that she only just got this diagnosis and she was living her life just fine.
Yeah.
What makes her think she has to change? Anything.
Yeah, that's kind of like where I was kind of going, because I was like, well, do you feel a change in your body? Do you feel the symptoms? And it seems like...
I mean, what is she going to do if she feels the clot coming on? So how important is it? What you're trying to get? Well, can we help her in order to deal with this situation? Help her in this session shift a little, so it's not such a source of anxiety. What way of thinking can we put her back on? Or bring her to? So what's the question? And she can help you with that. Very smart. Some clients are really sharp, some clients are not.
Does this change you or why you're here?
Does the change me? Well, I don't understand.
Does this change the meaning of life for you? Or your purpose in being here?
It brings up fear of death, which I wasn't walking around with before, not as, prominently. I think I was fearing Ernie's, but now I'm going like, it could kill me, so it brought up fear. I don't usually walk around with fear. It's probably the only thing I fear. Is death. Sorry, I know it's a big one.
No,
okay.
no, it's fine. I guess a part of me recognized that it feels like you're already living life to the fullest, to the best of your ability. I don't
feel I'm living life to the fullest though, because I feel like I'm put in. I feel like I'm in a holding pattern because I'm caretaking Ernie. So I can't do what I'd like to do actually. I feel I can't work. Not much. I feel I can't make a commitment because I never know how he's going to be.
Can I ask too? But like, what other things would fulfill your life besides taking care of Ernie, working while still fitting your life that will enhance it and will make you have more positive outlook?
Having my healing practice back. Teaching again.
And that depends on your physical well-being. It depends on your physical well-being or what other...
No, it depends on his, because he doesn't. Like, I'm the only one there for him, so he doesn't. If he's not doing well, I never know what shape he's going to be in. So therefore, I never know what I'm going to need to be doing.
Would you be able to...
I did taking off this week. His friend came and stayed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Could you fit in that time off to do something that you love the most, helping others?
I think it was good for me.
Yeah.
It was good for me.
I think respite care is like really important for us caregivers.
And this is good for me.
Okay, pause. I know. Everyone breathe. I'll just say one observation. It sounds like she's putting a lot on Ernie. Now, help her to see from a different perspective how it is, the reality of what kind of roadblock has she made Ernie into. And why is she withholding her spirit and her desires to wait to hear or help Ernie when she's going to be here 8 hours today, and on other days she's going to be at doctor's appointments. She's not going to be with Ernie then. Why can't she be 100% present whenever she is? And leave Ernie to be Ernie, who's always in her heart. There's no time or space. So help her to get to that question. Where would you be if you were 100% here and not worried about Ernie at this moment? I'm worried about that. That's the question.
That's a very good question. What if you are exactly where you're supposed to be? What if this was exactly what you needed at this time? And exactly what he needed at this time?
that still doesn't answer how I can take care of myself and be preventive and proactive so that I don't form blood clots.
Do you have control over forming blood clots? Or is it a
I think
process
there
that
are
happens inside your body?
I think there are things you can learn. Like one thing they put me on blood thinner, so or not to fly. Like I wouldn't fly to Europe. I wouldn't fly long distance.
Yeah.
I know that would not be good. Or not sitting too long. Like I need to be moving.
Did they tell you about compression stockings?
They didn't tell me anything. I've had to like look everything up. And the thing is, the doctors don't know a lot about this. They don't know a lot about it. So there's one book on it that I found.
So bring her back.
Yeah.
Bring her back to the path of being. In other words, if Ernie heard what you said just now, what would Ernie say to you? About everything. The summary of what you said is, Ernie takes up my biggest concern, and even my own death becomes an Ernie concern, because then that means Ernie. So, what would Ernie say to you? He would say Janet, and he would have hands on his hip. Say Janet. Take your time. You can hear him.
Oh, Ernie's really good at putting things aside and just being happy and living life.
He's going to say, Janet, don't use me for an excuse. I want you to
Be happy and live life.
now or later.
Now. Yeah. But I'm not very happy.
Is that Ernie's fault too?
Does Ernie talk to me?
Is that Ernie's fault?
Is that Ernie's fault that you're
No, no. It's my responsibility.
To look unhappy in front of Ernie? Does he not know you well? Would you thinking happiness?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you is the problem.
Would you thinking happiness fool Ernie?
I do fake happiness for Ernie sometimes, yeah.
Do you think you fool him?
I honestly don't think Ernie would notice. I honestly don't think he would. I don't think he knows.
Okay, so how does you being unhappy help Ernie?
Oh, it doesn't.
So he doesn't pick up on any of your energy?
I really don't think he pays attention. I mean, once in a great while he might, but most of the time I really don't think he pays attention. And he's losing his cognitive. It's gone from 100 to 54. I just don't think he's that observant.
Is that good for Ernie? Does it allow him to gradually withdraw as he needs to.
Yeah, probably. And I allow him to.
And
I mean, I don't feel it's serving any purpose for me to express. I don't think that'd do it. I don't think that'd help him.
so let's not look at Ernie's current body and mind right now. You know his soul and you know his heart. And when you see him in your mind, can you picture him healthy like he was before? When you first met him? Can you picture him? Okay. And he knows everything you're going through right now. And he puts his hands on his hips and he would tell you, Janet. What would he tell you? Put yourself in his shoes. Either that or be Janet telling Ernie, who's concerned about you dying. What are you going to tell him? Be unhappy. Always be concerned about me. Never be fully present. Always think you got to be by my side the moment I die. What are you going to tell him if it were the tables are turned? Because that's part of your fear too, that the tables could turn. So, what would you say? What is the best thing?
Well, he's ready to go. So he tells me, like, I'm ready to go.
And you say, no, you're not?
No, I just listen. And sometimes I'll ask, like, what do you know, how do you envision that? Like, when he crosses over, what do you feel like you want to do? Or like,
can you stop and breathe? Because when the words don't come, that's when everyone needs to take a pause. Because there's an idea right on the edge.
I don't want him to go.
And if you
I can't find a way to accept, to move into acceptance about it. I don't want to move into acceptance about it.
Okay, so Byron Katie would want to know, what does acceptance mean to you? Is acceptance the same as giving up?
Like accepting that he's going to leave and that will be okay. I don't want to go there.
Does it feel like you'll be giving up on him by accepting him?
Okay. Pause again. I'm going to pose an observation. You are suffering. He is dying.
Right.
And as he dies, he becomes more distant, as the soul needs to do. You feel that distance, and you feel that like he's being pulled away from you. And you don't like that feeling. No one does. Are you saying that your suffering is the way you want to be as he goes? Or would you like to be something else? Would you rather stay suffering to the end?
I feel I do something else. but I can't keep it up all the time.
And what
I can
makes
do
you,
it sometimes, like I can be cheerful and allow those things and
so what
but I
makes you
can't
think,
keep it going all the time.
where does all the time come from? What makes you think you have to do that all the time?
It'd be better for him and I if I did. I don't know.
All the time?
Yeah, they got Tron there.
Yeah, this is what would be better for you.
Is anyone ever cheerful all the time?
Yeah, no.
I wanted to ask you if we should go into
Yeah.
the second person.
I mean, I do it.
Late. We got a little late start. I don't know.
The great part of the time. When I'm away from him, then I let myself feel what I'm feeling.
We're just figuring out all the other stuff we're not stuck here.
But just because I know we're souls and he'll always be there and we can connect, that doesn't help. I've lost so many people that I don't feel them. I don't feel them like we're together. It's not the same. So to me, that doesn't console me.
In the time you have together, which isn't guaranteed, moment by moment, is it important for you to be the best version of yourself?
Yes, it's important for me to make it as smooth as possible for him.
What about for you?
I feel I put him first.
Why are you separate?
Why do I suffer?
No, why are you and Ernie separate?
Separate?
You're both one. We're all one. So how can you make it smooth for him and rough for you? If you make it rough for you, you make it rough for him. You make it smooth for you, make it smooth for him.
I'm really trying. I really am.
But you don't have to prove that to me or yourself. Trying every moment is a different try. When you want to cry, you cry. It'll be such a relief. And then when you get over it and you want to laugh, you laugh. Release. Release whatever rule book you're operating from that says you have to be something that you're not.
Right.
And what you make smoother and easier for you has an automatic effect on Ernie. Automatic, even if you were 3,000 miles away. And as his mind gets out of the way, his soul is even more connected to you. But he is saying goodbye with his soul too.
To me, I know we're souls and I know we're connected.
Not connected, you're one.
Right. But when people leave, that isn't comforting to me.
It's not supposed to be, Janet. That's a judgment. We do the same thing. We say the same things to ourselves. But as an observer, I can say that to you. What rule says we have to like it? What rule says we have to be there at the moment they leave? What rule says that every time he hurts and he looks around for you, you have to be there?
I don't have to. I want to.
And what rule book says that your wanting to needs to cause you so much suffering?
I'm just not comfortable with death. And the people that have crossed over that I was closest to, I don't feel them. I don't feel like they come in and I'm connected with them. I don't feel like I can be with them. It's not comforting to me at all. And I know we're one.
But this is planet Earth, and we have a barrier that's keeping us from being telepathic and psychic as much as we can. So this is what you have to work with. And you have lived millions of lifetimes and been married to many, many people. You've given birth to many, many children that you have loved dearly, and you don't even know their names right now. And past, present, and future are happening all at once. This is our reality as humans. We can only deal with a certain amount of reality. And as the reality changes and one person exits, we're going to feel that hole. And we're going to feel it until we don't feel it as strongly. That's all. And you're going to be uncomfortable, but are you telling me you would rather pray that Ernie stay in that body till you're ready for him to go?
He'd actually rather stay in that body. He said, I don't want to go. I love it here. I don't want to go. And he'll tell me, like when it happens, it'll be okay. But he really doesn't want to go. And he has so much that he wants to do. And I don't know.
Right. But do you see, he's answering his own question, and he's telling you his own advice. If you have so much to do, and you don't want to leave, then live. And do what you want to do. Who has a time expiration date where it goes off and you fall to your feet and your wife's calling the mortuary? We don't have that. And like you said, you could go first for all you know. Car accident, bam, you're gone. So how are we supposed to live with all that uncertainty? Why not just accept it as a fact and live? As if he's going to be alive. As if when you're going to go home, he's going to be alive. The likelihood is he's going to be alive. So live. Be here. Learn. Share your wisdom. Be with these young people. Be yourself. Add to their experience. Add to your learning from them. Be here. Live. And let Ernie do what he's doing right now. He's doing whatever he's doing, and you can't do anything about it. Now feel into your shoulders.
Into my shoulder.
Feel your shoulders. Make her do a cleansing breath.
Yeah, really stressed.
Have her breathe.
Take a deep breath in. Do the hold.
Yes. Yes. Do the perfect. Perfect.
Take a deep breath in.
And think of everything you've said in the past few minutes that it will rush by you like a movie on fast forward. Because she's putting her hands on the mounds that are going to decrease the trigger, the emotional response rate. So let those thoughts run through her fingers and let them soften their effect on you. so that you can live. Breathe. Let things go with every exhale. Go. Big inhale and then go. Let it out. Let everything out.
I did the protocol already. I did the protocol already.
Thank you. The bell.
The what?
And then wipe across the belly and down the opposite leg. Like that. Yeah, down the leg. There you go. And Alina, you pull from the opposite side. Across the belly. And then down the right leg. The right leg. Left leg, sorry. I say the wrong things. Perfect. Okay, now ground your hairline. Open the gates of her feet. This is so energy will not get stuck. Between the tendons of the toes, where they connect to the bone. Okay, now cross your arms and hold the heels. The heels because they're acupuncture points. Okay. Now, imagine pulling energy from her. Janet, every exhale, push energy from your head and shoulders down to your feet. And also into your fingers. Push with every exhale. Nita, take all that energy and pull it into the earth. No. Hold on to her heels. You're a circuit. Energy's coming to you. Coming down your leg. Into your leg. You'll feel that.
So you're on the right track.
Now, in your mind, ask Jenna's body to cut all cords, root grounding cords, and then send grounding cords down to the earth. Ask Gaia to accept them, and just say the word grounding, until you feel you're grounded, she's grounded. Janet, more energy, send more energy into your arms and your hands. Let your hands feel heavier, your elbow feel heavier, your shoulder. As if they're sinking into the sand of a warm beach where you and Ernie had wonderful times. All memories are open to you. Do not hold back on memories. Okay. Is your feet getting heavier? Great. And then when you're done, you can break. When you're ready, sit up. No, I forgot to put this down for you to massage the detox points on each side of the spine to take your fingers and just push it out. She'll push against you. All these points. Push pressure on your lungs. And she'll react if it hurts. You're telling her body to take any release, kind of noxious energy and detox it. Don't let it go to her head or anywhere else. Okay, shake it off.
That's weird. Something in here's going.
It's releasing. It's releasing. All trembling, all shakiness off.
If I work with you.
Right now, and then also looking into becoming a real estate agent. And then I'm also doing this research.
Just kidding.
I know, I sound like a kid.
We're looking to buy a house because we have
Like all the way.
I zipped up, I guess.
Yeah, and the kids just started school. It sounds like a lot of I'm feeling pretty good. Like I haven't
Going through some issues with my mom.
I guess my body's kind of taking into a I was having a headache.
It's been the same kind of thing that has happened throughout my life, where I feel like she's going to follow through on a promise and she breaks it again and again. And I'm getting to the point where I just feel like I need to shut down or disconnect from her because it's just too much to rely on her.
As the sun starts going down, why do you start to get school? So I think that happens
calming down.
Well, she said she was going to do something, and it was really important that she do her part. And I've been waiting on her for like the last few weeks, and like asking her time and again, "Have you done it? Have you done it?" And she's just like, "Yeah, tomorrow," but I don't know. It just seems like she doesn't get when something is very meaningful to me. Very. A lot depends on it. Right now we're getting stories. Maybe financially for the situation that she was. Well, I feel like we've been caught in like a codependent relationship where I'm waiting on her sort of like, I don't know, to save me. It's weird, but I think I'm being asked to grow up and sort of disconnect from anyone other than myself.
So you say it's a codependency relationship?
Yeah.
That's probably rooted in from childhood.
Yes.
And have you tried in the past to break away from this, to change this relationship?
I have, but I feel like it doesn't encourage me to be empowered. So it's almost like she likes to have me in a less than optimal state or level of happiness so that I kind of need her. She makes me need her. And I don't know if
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
realizes it, but I realize it. And I feel like if I continue with this dynamic, I'll just never really be motivated by me. I'll always be motivated by her approval or her,
ask you a question?
Yes, please.
Do you ever look at their relationship, looking at it from the viewpoint of your separate life paths?
That was one of the things I was asked to work on, and instead of seeing us as two rivers flowing into one, I was asked to see us as two rivers flowing separately.
Yeah, because usually when it's codependent, you're stepping into their life path and trying to change it,
Yeah.
or make it different. And that's what creates the codependency, because it's really none of your business to get into it, even if it's your kid or partner or whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that I have to detach, because I always feel like I have to make her proud or live in a way that gives her control over my life.
That gives her control, or you're giving it to her?
I'm giving her. No, yeah, I am. And that's where it feels like we're coming to a point where I will need to set a boundary to protect myself.
I'm sure you tried in the past to set that boundary.
Yeah.
This is not the first time.
No.
I don't want to talk about favors, but what do you think made not want
Is this belief that she will change. So I keep coming back to, oh, she's going to be different this time around. So my hope is that it's different. But it doesn't, I haven't seen much evidence of it changing. It's still the same.
So now you know that your mom will never change. You know that she will always do the same thing. And that you shouldn't be expecting her to change.
I think it's also just releasing my relationship and sort of feeling like now I have to really grow up. Because I guess a codependent relationship has made me focus externally and not internally. So as long as I'm looking at her and what's going on with her, trying to fix her, trying to make her whatever I want her to be, I'm not living my life to the fullest.
I'm not going to be able to change her and try to understand who she is, and she's never going to change. And it's just a waste of your energy. When you were speaking about some codependency, she probably did things for you that you're going to have to not rely on that. You're going to have to find sources, outside sources to help you with, and absolutely cut that out of the mind that she's going to be involved. You just need to maybe it should be on the right side. Sorry.
I think I'm afraid of being my most empowered self. I think I'm part of it.
It's difficult because we live under, their umbrella and under their rules, and we're so used to be dictated how to live our lives. But it's exactly what you said. It's a little frightening that you're just going to, maybe not frightening, but it's going to be different, but different in a good way. So did you talk to her? I know you close all your chakras, including your throat chakra. Have you been able to express that to her lately?
Not. I have, but I feel like it was also just like in a not with the power that I wanted to. No, it didn't. And I don't feel like I want to like yell or anything, but I don't know if I made her realize just how important
It's good that I don't know
it is that she followed through.
So, do you think that you could tell her in a very friendly voice, in a very diplomatic manner, that you see that this is not working for the two of you, and the changes that when you follow?
Yeah.
What changes would that be?
That I cannot depend on her for I don't know really. I don't want to have to go and depend on her for anything. And so it is just pulling back my cords, I think. It's pulling back those attachments that I've had and saying, you know, I'm going to attach to maybe more to source than to her.
But you also have to think about all the times that you were trying to please her and to be the best. And that was for her to see you because you already knew you were the best. And now you know what you're going to do. How are you going to change that?
And then I miss like do sessions with my husband, but
I feel like I'm already a lot better in getting. I used to feel like I had to get my self-worth from her, and I've grown tremendously in that arena. Like I don't feel like she gives me my self-worth anymore. Like I feel like I have that, but
work more, work out.
I think it's also like it's sobering to feel this way. It's almost like I have to prematurely feel like our old selves, or I have to feel like our old selves have died, and we are now new people. And I think I'm still sort of mourning the dynamic, but I feel like it's more empowering for me to be independent, self-sufficient, and not completely cut off from her. Like I could still love her, but not feel like her actions affect me.
So what you're going to do next time that she's going to tell you that I will do this certain thing for you, don't worry.
I think I'm going to have to give her an ultimatum.
But you had given her ultimatums in the past.
Yeah.
Did it work?
But it's always that I'm the one who came back after she disappointed me and still said, we'll work on the relationship. And I feel like at this point, I need to let her know that it's been a pattern and I'm not going to, it's not in my best interest to keep interacting if she's not following through.
Have you told her that before?
No.
And what makes you think that she will comprehend this better, this ultimatum?
I don't expect her to comprehend it. I think it's almost just for me to tell her this is the boundary, and then we evolve individually from here.
And that would be easier than, for you, that would be easier than just saying, no, I got it, it's not necessary.
No, because I want her to know that there was a pivotal point in our relationship in which we couldn't go farther, and this was what halted it. So,
When she doesn't respond in the way you would like her to, do you take it personally?
yeah, I feel like if I was just maybe
If you did the dance just right,
I'm trying to figure out.
maybe it worked.
Yeah, so I'm perpetually caught in that.
Well,
I had a feeling I wanted to do
that
that.
brings me back to the question, why do you think this time or more you're trying something
I have the
different?
expectation though that it won't work. So that I'm not going into it with the expectation that if I just do this or I just tell her this, she'll do what I want. I'm saying I'm no longer going to do the dance. I'm no longer going to look for it. I'm no longer going to seek you in that way. And I'm going to pull back and find other sources for what I need. With love. Of course.
Tell you the truth, I've never heard of it.
It won't work with mine either, but it will work for me, and I need to just stop thinking about what will work for her, because I've lived my life feeling like I need to do it a certain way, and there is no combination. The combination is me removing myself from the combination.
Yeah, you have to remove yourself and just let go.
Yeah.
With love.
With love.
I do feel those relationships are about learning, you're learning to set boundaries.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And just the universe keeps giving me these lessons. So I'm like, well, gonna have to graduate sometime.
Yeah. And not taking it personally when
Well, at least you're doing it a little bit earlier than me.
that's more empowering than cutting off and walking away. Staying there and you getting in a good place.
It's harder to do than
Buddha, there's a story in Buddhism about a bunch of monks, and they went to this town, and the people, they begged for their alms, or they didn't eat, and nobody was interested in giving them food, and the people were not inviting, and they went to Buddha and said, we want to leave because this is really horrible and all this is happening. And he said, no, you stay until it's all good, and when it's all good and everything is going well, then we'll leave.
Yeah, that's great.
That's life. It's a metaphor for life. You have to stay with whatever it is that's going on. I feel like that's what's going on with me. I have to sit in it. Can't escape it.
I'm feeling resolution.
There is some resolution.
Did you,
I did that,
I feel
and I
like-
grounded her, and I cut cords, and I'm just waiting for her to sit up, and I'll give her back.
When she's ready.
It's not just like you're driving and it's sprung on. It's like nothing for her. My husband and I used to do that all the time.
the breath, all weird breathings are all released.
That was very helpful. Yeah. Gosh, I needed that. I did. Okay. Who's next?
It's a bright light. Oh, that's fine.
With the fan off, it feels good.
Yes, but I feel like you can have social help too, so.
Everything okay up there without her?
Yeah, I play now already, so.
Sorry.
Don't worry.
Here, this is for you and your wife. There's an extra one, so it must be for you.
Must be.
I feel like it was all over the place. I don't know how to keep it in order. I'm just like asking questions and do the doing the and it's like already I'm like whatever I feel like I'll do things. So when you first did it, so when we first did it, from her, yeah, unlocking I feel like my mind was like in terms of direction and it was just like my intention was like clearing and then I would just do balance and I was like, what am I doing? And I was like, intentionally so I was like, oh, this okay. Yeah. How weird is clearing. Yeah, and then clockwise is balance. Yeah.
I see how much more I need to do this stuff.
It's
Eventually, no matter what, all the centers and stop therapy places end up with stool sizes.
Janet, thank you so much.
Not that old.
You're just a wonderful, thoughtful person. Thank you. Loading me your pencil. So that was when she gave me hers. It's amazing, Mom.
Did you get something? Did you spread some light somewhere?
Shed some light somewhere. She gave her.
That's right.
Yes.
You look so much better.
Yeah.
Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Mommy said
We're meeting. We're meeting, ladies.
okay.
That was incredible. Is it eggplant in that or Jamaican? Eggplant.
Yeah, you okay with that?
Thank you. I needed it.
It's not, it's better than the jar ones. The jar ones have a little bit more acidity.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't have
My other boys are like, oh, what are we doing for Mom's birthday? Which usually means we take them out and bake them. You realize like I just have to take them healthy and birthday. My son kept saying that. I feel like this is good. He had a job this summer, so he's all
Okay, we did actually marvelous time. Where's our Shirley?
Right here.
See, she's really missing this time. I see her. Shirley, we're going to wait for you because we love you, no matter what you are. Okay. All right, first I want to talk about, now we can talk about what happened to you in there. We'll let you process that a little, and we'll talk about that after lunch. Okay. I'm going to give you some new stuff real quick. Okay. The body can be used as a pendulum. Okay? And if you don't have a pendulum with you, there are many, many ways of trying to hook into your bridge to the universe so that you can access information that is not in your little brain. So in your vocabulary list, we talk about little brain, big brain. Little brain is just this one in here. It can calculate, add, subtract, do percentages, figure out tips, balance your checkbook sometimes. But that's it, okay? Do not ask it life questions. It cannot handle that kind of thing. You have to ask the big brain. And the big brain consists of your gut, your heart, your intuitive center, not the little brain, the intuitive center, the chakra that's here. This chakra that takes in all the information, and your shoulders. I always go with the shoulders because that when someone's sitting like this, you know what they're going through. They're sitting like this, you know what they're going through. If they're sitting like this, you know what they're going through. And like this, you know what they're going through. I mean, you know, they're either loaded or not loaded. Okay, so I use the gut, the heart, the shoulders, and this. So the most complicated one is to take something you want to question. And usually it's something you just heard, like the moon is actually not natural. It's an old spaceship. Okay. Say you heard that for the first time, which also means the Apollo missions could not have gone through, and that what you're looking at is not some thing that was there by nature. It's something unnatural. Okay, so let's pretend you heard that just now for the first time. Now, feel into your gut. When you hear that the moon is not natural, breathe that thought into your gut and it should only take a few seconds, but you don't want to overthink it. The moon is not natural. The moon is artificial. What's your gut doing? Anything? It's calm and peaceful, right? Little noisy, simple pronounced. Okay. All right. So that's your note number one. It's calm and peaceful. Into your heart. The moon is not real. It's not natural. I'm going to try and say it in a positive way. The moon is unnatural. It was put there. It's an old spaceship. Just a slightly deeper breath, see? Any restriction, any tightness, any pitter-patter? What do you feel?
This happens a lot that I feel like I breathe in and I hold it. And I'm not exhaling
Well,
out.
that's your problem.
So I was feeling that.
But do you feel tightness? Do you
A
feel
little.
restriction?
Yeah.
Do you feel heaviness?
Yes, a little.
Then you're overthinking. Do it again.
Okay.
No, unfurl your brows. Smooth your face out. Oh, there you go.
Peaceful. I felt peaceful and calm.
Okay, now, on the shoulders. The moon is not natural. It was put there. It's an old spaceship. So that means someone's lying to us. Ever put your hands down, please? Just because I don't want them to be a weight on your shoulders. Feel into your shoulders. You're not judging about lying to us. We're just hearing it. Just hear it. Don't argue about it. What do you feel? What do you feel, Shirley?
Some tightness.
Huh?
Some tightness.
Tightness? Mm-hmm. Is it weight or is it tightness?
Tightness.
Is it there before I asked you the question?
I don't think so.
Okay. So that doesn't count. Is it tighter than ever? I'll let you process that. Anyone feel weighted down or heavy in the information? Okay. All right. Now let's use the body as a pendulum. So we taken that data and just kind of register. Now everyone stand up. This is just above and below the belly button is a triple warmer alarm points. Okay, so that means that if someone sets off your alarm, this is the reset button. Okay, so just put your hands there. And fix your feet so you're stable. You're not falling sideways. You're not falling forward or back. And just breathe. Get to a point where you're balanced with every breath and you're not falling over with any breath. Find that spot in your feet where you're balanced. You might bend your knees just a tiny bit so they're not too still. So I couldn't knock you down if I came by and pushed you on the shoulder. A little loose. Everyone there? Okay. The moon is not natural. The moon is artificial. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Anyone fall forward? Anyone fall backwards?
I was rocking back and forth very slightly.
Anyone just was pretty solid? Okay, Janet, do it one more time. You feel solid, Janet?
I'm too far down.
Yes. And your shoulders are too tight. They're too, bring them down. Just a tiny bit. Okay. The moon is not real, or it's artificial. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Okay, what was the initial reaction?
Forward.
Okay. Forward is usually true. Backward is usually away from it, away from what you just said. Okay. And staying in the middle is neutral or true. Okay. So now you know a new fact. The moon's not real. Okay, so slow down. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Is the base of the skull also a information center?
Yes. And it's a connection, supposedly to the silver cord. But there's arguments about that. From our perspective on Earth, we see things that are part of first density reality, second and third. And we see bits of fourth. We can't see much of fifth unless you're already expanded to that level, which you probably are. By the way, none of these densities really exist as domains. They're gradients, okay? They blend into each other. And your heart can be in the highest dimension, and your head can be stuck down here. And then you can be in the highest dimension when you're a healer, and when you're a mother, you're right here. Okay, so you're not stuck in any particular place, all right? So that's why sometimes you get these great insights and sometimes you don't. Now, what you do with your body is realize it's your portal, it's your bridge between heaven and earth. And it is a tool for which you can use to not only be a conduit to Reiki energy, but also to grounding energy going down, and also information. So information is going to come down through the head go past your mind, you're going to speak something like, what? Did she just say the moon's not real? Down to your heart, and the heart says, and the gut says, yeah, it's not going to bother you. And then you've just processed some information. Okay, so that's what the body's for. It's really there for a reason. Okay, you have to leave. Who else has to leave? Oh, that's right. Okay, let me get 36. When do you have to leave? When do you have to leave?
Oh, my husband's out front right now.
Go.
What time are we do that?
1:30.
I'm meeting my family.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go too. I gotta meet my family right now. Okay. Yeah, yes. What time are we going back?
1:30.
1:30.
Okay. I'm gonna save that. That's sophisticated drawing. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes for a second and just picture you're standing in black space, okay? You're standing in space. Picture that, close your eyes. Black space all around. And all you can see are these parallel lines running alongside of you, under you, okay? The parallel lines reflect time, space. Okay, time, space, not space-time. Because you're not in a dimension. I mean, you're not in a world. So we're in time, space, where all time, past, present, and future are all one. Okay, and so you're standing in this place. Where the lines converge is where you're standing. Okay? Now, all those lines are possibles, past, present, and futures. They're all connected. They're all one line. Every second that goes by becomes the past. The present becomes the past. Every second just before I speak, the future becomes the present. You know that, right? So all these lines exist all at one time. And they're all your reality. But the ones you're aware of is the ones that converge under you. Now, the ones that converge under you could be 4, it could be 10, it could be 2, it could be 1. It all depends on your frequency. Your frequency is the average of all the consciousnesses within you on frequency. So every atom vibrates, every atom moves, every molecule moves. Every microbe, remember we're 99% bacteria, they have consciousness. Your liver has a consciousness. Every tissue, your skin tissue, everything, your aura, all of that is you. Okay. Now, when your frequency is low, those lines that converge under you shift to one side or the other. And let's just say it shifts to, looking at that screen, it shifts to the right. And where you used to have 5 under you, now you only have 2. Okay, so let's say you became depressed or worried, and you brought your frequency down. You have just changed yourself into a different pathway where the options might be less and your future is more bleak to match your frequency, and your past is whatever brought you to being depressed. But if you were to change your frequency and become accepting, neutral, and say, well, everything's what it is. I'm just going to have to deal with what's in front of me. You can shift back to neutral. Where now you have 5 lines, and everything seems to be, when you open your eyes, everything is just what you see. Okay, no one's shooting out there. everyone that you know of was alive when you came to class is still alive, as far as you know. You're the same state of health you were before. That's neutral reality. Now, if we switch into a higher frequency where we believe that we're here for a purpose, and we're not just Christine Warren, we're not just Nita, we're an accumulation of all our ancestors and all the people who are to come from us, and we're intertwined with all these people we know in our lives. All their timelines are converging and are wrapped around yours. That's how big we are, okay? So if you shift to the point where, well, everything's already happened, but if I stay happy, then I make my timelines more likely to lead to a happy future. And my past is whatever brought me to the happy future. And the happy current is simply because I shifted my attitude to, hey, this ain't so bad. I might have Parkinson's, but I don't have a stroke. I might have Parkinson's, but I don't have heart disease. I might have Parkinson's, but I'm married and have a nice house in Huntington. Whatever. All those things are cool. So I remember things when things were not so cool. And I like what this is now. It's going to put a smile on my face. And your frequency shifts. Now there's 10 lines under you. And they're all brighter. Okay, and you notice that all the other people who you thought would be with you are now different. They're people that you enjoy being around and who encourage you, not the ones that are always criticizing you. Their lines are far away from you now. All this just happens with your frequency. Shift, shift, shift. Otherwise, there's no reality. Everything is a holodeck. That means until we think it, it doesn't exist. They're all, let me see if I can find my, this top picture, which you can't see that well. This top picture, that's reality when we've got our eyes closed. Okay, now, when we have our eyes closed, Loretta might have her eyes open, and all the people we know are thinking at different places, but our eyes are closed. So to us, that's our reality. To everyone else, we're at Mauna Kea. This is a room. There's white curtains over there. There's a window over there. We've made all these agreements, and that's what we see, all the same things. That's why they exist, even when it seems like our eyes are closed. Because other people bring it into existence. And we're not the only ones. There are clients out there that know Mauna Kea exists, and their thoughts keep this in existence. But if no one thinks about Mauna Kea at all, it disappears completely. It goes into a void. Now, reality happens when a person puts their attention in a particular place and says, I'm in a room, the temperature is neutral, I do know these people and trust them, I don't feel like any conflict's going to happen, I feel safe, but I wish I were somewhere else. Okay, so your points of attention make this place exist. And you exist because you are a combination of a vibration met by the opposite vibration underneath. And if we were to make this go, has everyone seen an oscilloscope? Yeah, surrounding, and you have all these waves going on. When the top one and the bottom one match exactly, it doesn't look like it's moving at all. Have you seen that? That's the standing wave. That's the reality you can see. It requires an observer, and it requires an observer to expect to see something. And those expectations give all those tiny little dots that were there before form. Okay. So, and then the collective gives us all the other points of attention that makes the street, the house, the neighborhood, the planet all exist. The planet exists because the plants, the minerals, the animals, the bugs, and whatever all have points of attention on this planet. So this is the hardest thing, and it's one of the most important things for you to know, because it actually gives you the power to be a creator. And that means that every single client of yours, every child that you know, is a creator. We have the ability to make the reality we want. And the trouble is, we argue with ourselves too much, or we have people who argue with us about what reality is. And so it becomes chaos for a lot of people. And it also becomes reality becomes, your body becomes a battleground of conflict, where I want to love someone, but I don't want to love them this much to where it hurts. That's conflict already. So your reality is more under your control and under your client's control than they think it is. And this is what they have to accept. If you look at this and you remember my lines drawn, the person standing on the lines, is there free will? Is there randomness? Is there more than one you? What do you think?
Yes.
There's more than one you?
Sure.
There's more than one projection of you. There's more than one reality of you. And then there's, is there free will?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Sure.
Okay, so if right now someone offered you a beautiful Mercedes-Benz, they're going to cover all the maintenance, they're going to pay for it, and they're going to give it to you, would that be something you would accept? Just run out.
Right up there. If there are no strings.
I didn't say anything about insurance.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I would want to investigate. I wouldn't just
Yes or
jump.
no? Would a Mercedes fit your life right now?
No.
Do you want it?
No.
Okay. See, so what happened is she made a decision based on who she is and her value system and what she needs in her lifestyle right now. Is there really free will there?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Everything that makes you you is already you.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And everything that would keep you from getting a Mercedes or any pros or cons already exists. So I can almost guarantee that in the end you would turn it down. But the 20-year-old may not. Because it means more. It means different things that you don't need. Okay, so this is where this again is, people are worried about, did I make the right choice? What if I make the wrong choice? And they sit on the fence for days and weeks and months, afraid to make a decision because you don't want to make the wrong decision. Well, the decision's already made. You just have to raise your frequency and walk towards the one you think it is. If it isn't it, you'll know. Way sooner than if you wait. So what is this big need to have to make the right decision? Is it up to you? Even with stuff you have to think about. Laws are made. Judges are who they are. Life situations are who they are. Personal histories are who they are. Your daughter's age is who she is. Is there really a huge decision that you have to make? No, you're clear as to what you need to do. So you have to now relax and see what the other people you have no control over will do. And you worrying about it's not going to make you any more ready or more sharp or alert. But a lot of worrying and loss of sleep will make you less. So this is reality, and we're constantly trying to orient our clients to reality. We don't have to have any fancy answers, but they need to know that things are what they're going to be. We can change the frequency of it. We can make our future the more vibrant one, but it's already happened. Okay, and there is a bleak one. And we have already lived through that. So which one do you want this particular body to be aware of? Pick that one. Pick that vibrant frequency and stick to that one. And if you can't stick to it all the time, it's okay. It's 80-20 rule. If you can do it most of the time, you're going to be there. And if you feel it when you think about it, you'll be there. So